Hello everyone, today we are going to start drawing 7th grade drawing, part 8. To do this, we're going to end up drawing on our top view. We are going to utilize the extrude tool, we're going to utilize the fillet tool, and we are also going to throw in the chamfer tool. The chamfer tool we're going to use just a little bit at the end. What we're going to be making is a flange. This is actually a copy of a metal flange that I have seen. So we're going to go from there. I'm going to start off my sketch on our top view. Again, utilize my cube in the top to change my views instead of dragging and clicking and swinging it around, keep it all nice and organized. Now I'm going to draw two center point circles. I'm going to draw two center point circles, and I'm going to work in this in two stages. One, I'm going to work in the bottom. When I say the bottom, it's going to actually be, there's a bottom circle. It's going to be a 1/4 inch thick, and it has 3 holes in it. And then there's going to be a 3/4 inch piece added on to that. I'm going to start out working on the bottom first. So the bottom is going to be a 3.5 inch circle with a 1 inch circle in the middle. And then I am going to add 3 more circles. I want to do these all at once just so that I don't have to go back and extrude remove. It's really just a time saving situation, but it will also help me when I am actually drawing to make sure everything is lined up and in the right place. I'm going to use the line tool, and before I use the line tool, I am going to select the construction tool. Now the construction, when I press construction and line at the same time, what it will do is it will create these lines that, if you see this, they are not solid. This is not a solid line. This is going to be a line with dots in it. What that identifies and means really is that there are going to be these lines here. I'm going to create 3 of them that are going to be utilized for some type of later dimensioning, really. These are going to be used as reference lines. We will end up dimensioning them, and that's what we're going to do next. Reference lines will not show up on your extrusion. This is not a line cutting off your extrusion at all. This is not impacting anything more than being there for reference. What we're going to do is grab our dimension tool, and we are going to click on one line, and then click on the other. Since these lines are not parallel with each other or perpendicular or any of that really, what will end up happening is it will end up showing us a angle measurement. We're going to measure this at 120, which will end up splitting this into 3 equal sections. We're going to do that for the other side. So 120 degrees. Again, splits it into 3 equal sections, 1, 2, and 3. Once you have it split up or divvied up, you're going to draw a circle on that line. Now, I want you to make sure you do not have anything that snaps to that line. So notice how there's a snap to there. And when I say snap to, really what it means is it's something more than just I'm drawing on that line. When you draw these circles, you want to have this icon that pops up where it's a line that essentially just connects. You do not want to have any icon where there's a box like this or selecting it on the circle. I'm going to draw up my circle at 0.375. I'm going to draw 3 of these. Then what I'm going to do is first press escape. I'm going to move some of these dimensions so you can all see. Not the end of the world if you have yours in a particular spot. I'm just doing that so everyone can see everything. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my dimension tool. The reason I'm going to grab my dimension tool is I'm going to measure on this line, so parallel to the dotted line that I drew from the center of the circle to our origin, I am going to measure 1.25 or space this out 1.25 or 1 1/4 inch from the center of the circle. I'm going to do that for all 3. Now there are a few other ways of doing this faster. I don't know if faster is necessarily the right word. There's another way of doing it differently. It is to use the circular, what is it? It's up here. It's a circular pattern I don't use circular pattern. I personally don't find its functionality in OnShape being the same as certain other software like Inventor or SolidWorks. I just don't think it's applied the same. That's why I try not to use it. Once I have this drawn out, what I'm going to do now is add my material. So to add your material, you're going to use the extrude tool. I'm only adding 1/4 inch. And I actually want my top plane to be the bottom of this flange, so I'm not going to press symmetric at all. I'm just going to leave it. There we go. Last thing for adding material that I have to do is on the top of my flange, I am going to draw 2 more circles. One is going to be that 1-inch circle, and then another one is going to be a 1.5-inch circle. Now this 1.5-inch circle is what you do see when you're looking at the actual paper drawing or the drawing we'll see at the end, where it does end up going up a little bit. We're going to extrude this 0.75. Press our green check. And there we go. Last 2 steps we have to do is we have a fillet that we have to apply to a few different spots. We have 2 fillets that we have to apply. Both of them, their radius is going to be the default of 0.25. One is going to be on this top edge. The other one is going to be on the edge that makes those 2 pieces we just made meet. The next one is going to be our chamfer. Now, chamfer is a tool that, just like a fillet, only really applies to an edge. A chamfer is utilized to create some angle notch. In this case, default in OnShape is 45 degrees. And we're actually going to do this at 0.05, which again is default in OnShape. So we are going to select 4 edges there. And then we're going to press our green check. Once you have that, we're going to throw this in a drawing really quick. Again, you always want to throw it in a drawing so that you can see all the dimensions later. When we go ahead and do this, we're going to take our drawing, take our front view, top view, right side, and isometric, and put them in their traditional spots. Now on this drawing, we are going to change the view to hidden lines, show hidden lines. That will make this a little bit busier, so please know that that is going to make this busier. One alternative that I have seen people do in the real world, when you have something that is busy like this, where you are able to see 1, 2, and 3 holes, these 2 here are actually going to be lined up. What I've seen some people do is leave this not as a show hidden lines. Why? Because it still works. It doesn't damage anything. That is something I've seen in the past. I'm going to leave this one as actually not showing hidden lines, simply just for ease of reading dimensions, really. So I'm going to first dimension our circle there, and I'm going to dimension from edge to edge. I'm going to dimension our radius. And I'm also, on this drawing, going to dimension our height. So really, the majority of our drawings, our dimensions on this drawing are going to be off of this piece. I'm going to select the top there. And again, notice how, because there is so much information here, it does make it a little bit more difficult. That sometimes not having hidden lines is easier on the side of putting in your dimensions, but it isn't necessary. So it does show all the full story of the actual part. We're going to put in one more dimension on this part just to show this inside radius as well. Show that they're the same. The only other thing we have to do is grab our chamfer dimension. To do a chamfer dimension, you cannot use the generic dimensioning tool. You have to first select the chamfer dimension and then choose an edge next to it. So you'll choose one surface and then an edge next to it. The reason for that is it's the same as when you're using the chamfer tool. You're selecting an edge imagine there would be a little triangle here that would actually pop up. That's what we originally had. The chamfer just removes a top little triangle. I'm going to go back to my regular dimension tool, and I'm going to add in, actually, some lines. So I'm going to add in some lines here that connect. And the reason I have to add these in is because they're not already there. The importance of adding these lines in is it will allow you to grab something to actually dimension. So in this case, with these lines that we have drawn in, we're able to find our angle. Had I not drawn those lines in, you would not have been able to find the angle, sadly. I do wish there was an alternative to that. If anyone has an alternative to that, I'm always ears. I know everything is constantly updating. That is just one of those I am used to SolidWorks and Inventor that has it a little easier. And I got to change my last dimension. Please make sure you are dimensioning the right measurements. I had someone ask me, well, how do I know I'm dimensioning the correct thing? You'll know you're dimensioning the correct thing that the actual measurement you typed in pops up. I know that sounds a little weird, but when I am going through and I'm dimensioning something and I get point, like in this case, up at the top when I accidentally selected the part, this ring right here, it popped up as 1.4. I obviously never typed that, so you have to make sure you choose the correct thing. Once you have this, go ahead, turn it in. This is the end of this drawing. You've only got a few more left that I'm going to create a video for, so please take your time on this. This is detailed, I understand that.